Hi everyone, and in today's video for PSO2 NGS, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about the Duo Selio and Dostasis Armor upgrades. Hi everyone, welcome back to another video for PSO2 NGS. So today's video, I'm going to cover the new weapon and armor series, which is the Duo Selio weapons and the Dostasis armors. So these are a new combined series that are upgrades of previous sets. So the Duo Selio weapons are upgrades of the Excelio weapons, and the Dostasis armors are upgrades of the Ectasis armors. So first of all, how do you actually get these? You can't trade for them, and you can't actually find them as drops. So the only way to get them is to do an upgrade process. The way that you upgrade them is you need to collect a few different items. So the first thing you need is the base weapon or armor. So for the Duo Selio weapons, you need the base weapon that you want. So if you want, for example, a Duo Selio spear, you need to have a Excelio spear. If you want a Duo Selio wand, you would need an Excelio wand, for example. Now the Excelio weapons, they seem to drop in a lot of the more recent content. So any area that's got high level enemies, so it seems to mainly be urgent quests, limited quests, things like that, but there may be other ways of getting them. I think they can also drop from Nameless City as well, but I could be wrong on that. I'm sure I have one or two drop from Nameless City, but they are fairly rare. The Ectasis armors, again, the same. A lot of the current content will drop them, so a lot of the limited quests, urgent quests will drop them fairly often. So once you've got those, there are a couple of other items that you need. So you need an item called a Prograde Grinder, and you also need another item which differs depending on whether you're going for the weapon or the armor. So if we go over to the actual exchange counter, I can show you the items that you need for it, and I'll explain how to get them. So the process to actually upgrade them is a process called Equipment Upgrade Augment Transfer, which is a very, very confusing name, honestly, because although it mentions Augment Transfer, you don't actually do it at the Equipment Lab, which is where you do your Augment Transfers. So you do it actually at the item trader instead. So there's one of these in each city. In Stia, where I am at the moment, it's this NPC, Sakura, but there is one in every city. When you speak to them, so this is the NPC you tend to use for all your different exchanges. So this is where you exchange for your Growthment exchanges or your Giga Strugment exchanges, for example. There is an option now at the bottom, which is Equipment Upgrade Augment Transfer. If you go on this, it will show you all the different things you can get. So you can see here we've got the Duo Selio weapons. And we've also at the bottom got the Dostasis armors as well. There are also a couple of versions of the Dostasis as well. So we have a base one, which gives you 6% across the board, 20 HP and 2 PP. Or we've got the Vita version, which gives you 40 health but no PP, and the same attack buffs. And then we also have the VO version, which gives you 4 PP but no HP and the same attack buffs. So it's up to you which one you want to go with. Generally in NGS, I find that PP is a much more valuable resource than HP. So I would probably maybe go more towards the VO, potentially. It depends on your build or whether you feel you need more HP or not. So that's your options. So how good are the Duo Selio weapons? Obviously here you can see these are just the base weapons. They don't have any augments or anything on them, so it's kind of hard to gauge it. So if we look at the Visiphone site to look up the potentials for the Duo Selio series, we can see that it's actually a very, very good set. So at level 6 potency, they give 43% potency. They increase your PB gauge by 10% when attacking, or plus 10% when attacking. So that just means that your gauge will increase by 10% more than it would do normally. It also, every time you do a successful sidestep or a weapon action that nullifies an attack, you'll gain 1 charge, and then when you use a Photon Blast, you'll expend those charges up to a maximum of 3. And you'll get a PP consumption reduction. I assume that the PP consumption reduction is dependent on how many charges you've got when you activate your Photon Blast. So there is a bit of a similarity to the old Flugelguard set in that there is this link to use the Photon Blast to give buffs, but you actually stack the buffs by doing successful weapon action dodges or by successful dash evades. But even without that ability, the 43% potency is really, really nice. They also do have nice base stats as well, you know, being that they are an 11-star weapon. And I believe they are the strongest 11 stars in the game at the moment. So they are probably well worth upgrading to, particularly as Excelios are fairly easy to get. So let's just say we wanted to go for, as an example, let's say we want to go for the Duo Selio Gunblade, for example. You can see that in the target item list, we have, it requires 1 Excelio Gunblade, 150 Evolavolt 1, and 200 Progress Grinders. Now, for the armors, the only difference with these is that you only need 100 grinders instead of 200. And you need an item called Extravance 1 instead of Evolavolt, and you need 50 of them instead of 150. So the armors are easier to get, but obviously bear in mind that you will need 3 of them if you want to do a full upgrade. So where do you actually get these items? So first of all, the Excelio weapons. Again, I've said there are a few quests that do drop them. Another really easy way of getting them at the moment, though, is actually through the current seasonal shop. So if you're playing during this Halloween event, at the moment, the seasonal shop actually has Excelio weapons in it. They come with plus 60 grind. Now, they are set to max 90 as well, so you won't need to use any arms refiners on them to upgrade them, to limit break them. But you will need to grind them up to 90 from 60, which admittedly is the hard part. You can see that they also come with level 6 potential, and they also come with quite a few abilities on them as well. Obviously, these abilities are not too bad, but you probably want to adjust them a bit yourself, but they are a nice base to go from. The only things they don't have is a fixer. So it is up to you if you want to go with one of these and then transfer a fixer onto it, or if you want to buy a fixer from the shop. Because although you can't buy the Duo Selio weapons from the shop, you can buy Excelio weapons with fixer. And I believe fixers might transfer. I know the augments definitely do. So this is one way of getting them, and these are 20,000 seasonal points each, which is nothing, honestly. And you can buy up to 2 of them of each weapon. Also in this shop, you can also buy the Dostatis Armors from here. They are 30,000 each, and again, they come with plus 60 grind, and they come with 5 abilities. Again, you're going to want to do a bit of work on these to make them actually usable, but they have some decent base abilities on them. In addition to that, you've got a lot of the usual stuff, but you can also get the Evolavolt from here for 5,000 each, and you can buy up to 40 of them. There is actually, just off topic, there is a Mars update you can get there as well. You can get up to 100 of those, so if you need to upgrade your Mars, you can do that from here as well. It is a really good seasonal shop, actually. And then, I've already bought these, so they're down here, but the Progress Grinders are also here as well. So you can buy up to 50 of these for 2,000 each. So it is a nice way of getting a stack of those. So that's one way of getting them. Now, in regards to the other items, the Evolavolt, the Progress Grinders, and the item that you need for the armors as well, the way you get those so for the Evolavolt, these seem to mainly, from what I've seen so far, they seem to mainly drop from trials. So when Mediola 1 was the main area that people were running, a lot of the trials seem to give those. It does seem to be the same in News and Plant as well. So in News and Plant, a lot of the trials there do seem to give these Evolavolts. For the Progress Grinders seem to just be a drop from, I'm going to say, from level 95 enemies. Because it seems like pretty much anywhere that has level 95 mobs or higher does seem to be able to drop these Progress Grinders. They're not particularly rare, but they're not something you're going to get hundreds and hundreds of quickly. So you will need to do a little bit of grinding to get them. Obviously, getting the stock from the seasonal shop will help you a lot with that. There is actually another way of getting a lot of these though quickly as well, which is if you go into your tasks and quests and go into your limited time tasks here. At the moment, there are actually special seasonal tasks, well, special limited time tasks for these. So you can see here there is actually an older one to get some augment vouchers, but these are the ones we're looking at. So this one here, if you enhance an armor to 80 or higher, you'll get 100 Progress Grinders. It says any armor as well, so I think you can just use a low level one if you want to. The reality is you may as well just grind one of the Dostatis Armors because you're probably going to be upgrading them anyway. Then also, if you augment an armor, again, it recommends doing it to the Ectasis armors. You'll get 75 extra Advance 1, which are the item that you use to upgrade the armors. There is also another limited time quest here, which is if you upgrade an Ectasis armor into a Dostasis armor, it will give you 1.5 million Mazetta and a Duo Selio Almaty weapon camo. So this is well worth doing. So even if you don't plan on using a Dostasis for some reason, I don't really know why you wouldn't, but even if you don't plan on using one, it's still worth making one just to get, 1.5 million and a free weapon camo. So ultimately, to get those items, you are going to be running a lot of the new Stia content. So at the moment, a lot of people are mainly running this area, Nose and Plant. So this, in rank 2, is a fantastic area for farming for progress grinders. It drops Evolvolts. It is just a fantastic area. You can also get some decent fixed capsules from here as well, like Stia Southern. So this is well worth doing. Once you've actually got the items, the item trader is where you actually create the Duo Selios or the Dostasis Armors. So, for example, for here, you can see, again, 1 Exilio Gunblade, 150 Evolvolts, and 200 Progress Grinders. If you do this, it will then create a Duo Selio for you. Now, the reason it's called Equipment Upgrade Augment Transfer is because it will transfer the augments over from the Exilio weapon. So if you can get an Exilio weapon that has really nice affixes on it, you can actually get them to transfer over to the Duo Selio, which is a really nice addition because it means that you're not having to basically reaffix the weapon from scratch. So this is a really nice bonus, and I do hope they keep doing this going forward, because I do feel like the whole process of grinding and affixing weapons in NGS is very, very overdone, and I really don't like how it is at the moment. So this, I think, is a step in the right direction. So that's how you make your Duo Selio and your Dostasis armors. As I said, the main thing that you want to focus on at the moment while it's active is you want to be running a lot of... I mean, you could still run Mediola 1 if you wanted to, but I think most people are running either Dext or Noise and Plant at the moment. So I'd definitely run Noise and Plant. Noise and does also have a lot of trials in it as well, so it is quite good for farming those Evolvolts as well. Yeah, so this is the current Halloween quest, which is actually another really, really good way of farming some of the materials that you need for the Duo Selio and for the Dostasis armors. So this quest is called Haunted Domain 2. I would thoroughly recommend you to do it every time it's on, just because it is a really good way of farming a couple of materials. It tends to, from what I've seen, usually rewards around 10 to 12 progress grinders per run, and usually gives maybe around 3 or so of the Evolvolt and Evolvance items that you need for the upgrades. So well worth doing. It is also a really fun quest as well, where you basically use these cannons to use different elemental shots to break the shields on the enemies and then take them down when the shields are down. Generally only takes maybe 5-6 minutes or so to run it usually. It's a very, very quick run, and just a very, very efficient way of farming for those materials that you do need for the Duo Selio and Dostasis armors. So yeah, definitely make sure that you do the Halloween quest when it's on. So hopefully that's been relatively useful. I do feel like this seasonal shop is one of the best ones we've had in a long time, so it actually has some decent purpose to it. As well as being able to get all of the Exilio and the materials to make the upgrades, there is some really nice capsules in there. There's a lot of the Technique PA customization discs are in there as well, which I know have been in previous ones, but it's nice to have them there. So I would focus on this event if you are considering coming back to NGS, because it does seem like a good time to play and farm for these Duo Selio parts. Just as an aside, I do want to say that I do feel like this is a definite step in the right direction for NGS. One thing that this game lacked for a long time was a sense of purpose of things to look for. Now I feel with the Duo Selios, I do feel like there is that incentive now to go and run Noise and Plant, to look for these progress grinders, to look for these Evolvolts and the item you need for the armors as well. So you can actually grind towards upgrading your gear that way. Whereas I feel before, things were just kind of given out and then upgraded more or less straight away and became irrelevant. SEGA have kind of hinted that they are going to slow down the process of the rollout of new weapons and armors a little bit, which should hopefully put a bit more value in the gear that we actually have, which I'm all for. I think it's a better way of conducting the game, and it makes it feel like you don't have to constantly upgrade your gear every 2 weeks when something else upgrades. So yeah, I hope you found that relatively useful. If you do have any questions about it, please leave them in the comments below and I will try and answer what I can. I realise that I don't do a whole lot of NGS content. I do mainly focus on the older Phantasy Star games, but I do have a few NGS videos on my channel if you want to go back and check those. As always, I appreciate a like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. I do also stream over on Twitch, and I have a Twitter as well, which is both of those are Section Skyline as well, so feel free to follow me on either of those. And in addition to that, we do have a Discord where you can play with us off stream as well. I mainly play PSO and PSU and some other games off stream, but I do play NGS now and again, so if you do want to play NGS, feel free to follow us over there. But yeah, I hope you found this useful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.